The following podcast is part of the MindBodySpirit.fm podcast network.
Walmart Business saves you time, money, and hassle, which means you can focus on what really matters, like putting the money you save back into what you do, spending more time training your team, filling orders, and finding new clients, anything and everything, right down to, oh, that's the one, choosing the best hold music. Walmart Business. It's the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.
Hi, I'm Lindsay, host of the Live Like Eden podcast. What do you do when your whole life flips upside down? Are you questioning everything, lost in chaos, or yearning for life's deeper meaning? I've been there, deep in the thick of it, unraveling my own awakening mess for over 20 years. Now I'm here to help you through yours. I share no-nonsense weekly wake-ups, cutting through the ego's illusions to wake you up to your own spiritual wisdom. No mountaintop bliss needed here, just practical tools, insights, and real-life experience to save you time. Plus, a much-needed laugh when we're all losing it. Let's dive into this fresh new episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Lindsay, your host. And today I'm going to do a little Q&A. I got a couple of good questions to answer from the last episode where it was just me speaking about the great knower. Before I get into that, I just want to say I'm actually getting ready to head out of town on a vacation with my mom. I'm very excited about it. She invited me to go on a plant-based cruise to the Caribbean. And it took me about 5 seconds to say, yeah, like we're doing that. And what I'm excited about is, I do speak about health and the body. I'm excited because we're going to be listening to a lot of speakers, medical doctors talking about nutrition. And I hope I can bring back some good information for you and have a really great show. So stay tuned for that. But to get into this show today, I want to address a question that I got that was really great about the great knower. And in that episode, if you go back 2 episodes ago, I think it's episode 169, I share that the great knower is the ego mind. It's the mind that wants to know everything about the world. It's trying to figure everything out, right? So many of us can relate to this. When we don't know something, we're on a scavenger hunt immediately trying to figure it out. We don't usually think about, I don't really need to know. That doesn't hit us right away. But over time, when you realize that nothing ever works or nothing ever answers all of my questions, right? I'm still digging. I'm always looking for more. And if you're a spiritual seeker, you're definitely looking for more. Typically, we look externally. We're looking at the next book. We're looking at the next system, right? And the question I got, which I'm going to share with you right now, was about, are the systems of the world such as human design, the gene keys, the Enneagram, astrology. You can think of all these systems, these tools that are available that look at the energy that influences our life while we're in the world, or so they say. This is what they claim, that this is how we are. This is why you are the way you are. Because of when you were born at this time in human design, it's the neutrinos going through the atmosphere, and you're either one of the energetic types, right? Or in astrology, you're one of the signs of the zodiac, and you're born under this sun sign, this moon, and your ascendant, whatever time that was. And I always wonder, who keeps the record of all of that? Like, how is that working in the database? I'm really curious. We should look into that, maybe do a show. How do I know the information I'm getting is accurate? I don't know. There goes my great knower, right? Need to know. But the question was, are those systems, is that the great knower? Is that the ego, in other words? Is that the ego's doing, needing to know about the personality and figure out how we are and what our purpose here is? And if it is the ego, if that's truly of the ego, then how do we transcend it? So it's a great question. I'm going to answer this just in my own experience and my own interpretation of things, and you can try it out for yourself, see if it works, if it resonates or not. You're ultimately the one that has to answer these questions too, right? We all get to see, what do we think about this? What feels right? And there was another question I got a little while back, and it has to do with the Course in Miracles. And I am going to tie the Course into this first answer. But the second question has to do with level confusion. And I'm going to tie these two together today. So let's get into this. All these systems of the world, astrology has been around for a really long time. I mean, they've been looking up at the stars and the constellations and the way that the sky appears to be moving, right? And then watching the sun and the moon. I mean, this has been going on for millennia. And it's also how we form the calendar, right? Which is really, when you think about it, it's all just made up, right? I mean, they're changing calendar times all the time. What are we on, the Gregorian calendar now? We've been on other calendars. I mean, I really do want to know, and I've asked this question before, who are these people that decide this for the entire population, for all of humanity? I don't know. How did they get elected to do such a thing? It definitely makes you wonder. I like to think of this question from A Course in Miracles perspective in that, as the Course states, if this world, the entire universe that we believe to be real, that we believe is happening, is really a dream, if that is true, if it's true that none of what we see in front of our eyes, none of what the body interprets is actually real, then everything within it is untrue. Right? It's all false. It can't be some of it's true and some of it's false. In the Course's perspective, it's all false. And the only thing that's real and the only thing that's true is God or source, or, I don't think it has language, but let's just say it's God. God is. It's the only reality. So that means that everything that we do here ultimately isn't anything. Now, that's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people because we want to think some things are truth, some things are sacred, and some things aren't. But if you are looking at it from A Course in Miracles interpretation, the dual world is not real. So anything in it doesn't matter. Even the Course itself is not real. It's not true. It's a symbol of truth, which is really important to think about. It's a symbol, but in and of itself, it's nothing. So I hope that makes sense. If you're looking at human design and you're looking at astrology and the Enneagram or any of these tools, that can be very helpful in your practical life. I've gotten into a lot of them and I find them very interesting. And then I'm like, how did they figure all these little minute details out? So on that level, if we're just looking at our life, can they be helpful for you? You have to answer that yourself, right? Is it helpful? If it's helpful, use it, But I think the thing to remember is if you're really seeking and you're really looking to wake up and return home, then you have to look at it for what it is. You can use it as a tool, but underneath it, and I like to call this spiritual multitasking, you do your life however you want to do it, but underneath it, as you're doing it, deep down that it's really nothing. It might be guiding me to a new thing in my life. It might be opening my eyes to how I'm acting with people around me. It might show me my strengths and weaknesses while I'm in the world. But even underneath all of that, I know that I'm actually none of these things. I'm not the body. I'm not my personality. I'm not any of it. But you can still use it as long as you see what it is. Now, A Course in Miracles would call all of these things the little tricks, if you will, of the world, the little systems that are in place to better oneself. It would refer to that as magic. If you read A Course in Miracles, you may have come across it. It uses the term magic like a magician, right? It's trickery. And if you're going to use magic in the world, which would be anything, literally anything that you're trying to solve in the physical world is magic. Like, for instance, I'm going to use the power of my mind to heal my body. There's a lot of people that do that. They know the power of their own mind and they heal themselves. That's wonderful in the world, right? It's wonderful to be able to heal your body in the world. But on a deeper level, and what the Course is talking about, is there is no body. There is no world. You created a dream world outside of God that isn't real. And so if you put all of your effort into your physical form, if you put everything into, oh, I have to heal this or I have to do that, and everything I'm doing is about getting an external outcome, then it's the ego, right? It's the great knower. To rise above the ego, which is really the chatterbox between your ears, right? And to get up into the higher mind, which is where spirit lies, or the Holy Spirit, this is where the correction to believing in the dream really lies. It's outside of the small mind, if that makes sense. So you rise above this battleground in the mind and you say, I want to see through larger eyes, that no matter what happens in my physical body, no matter what happens in my life, I know that truth is really in God. And I'm just confused in an insane world, right? And some people go, oh, no, the world's beautiful. It's a wonderful place. And yes, sometimes it is. There are wonderful, beautiful things here. But if you take a magnifying glass and really look at it, it's insane. You know? I mean, just think about what goes through your own head on any given day. And then look at what's going on outside in the world, right? It's just a roller coaster of crazy events. And people say things like, can you believe that happened? And I'm thinking, yes, I can, because the world is nuts. So to me, yeah, I can believe it. Anything is possible in this world. It's not a stable place. It's just not. The only stability would be to find the inner peace with spirit. That is the stability. And that's, I think, what each one of us, whether we are aware of it or not, is really looking for. So this question, right, these systems of the world, and are they really part of the ego? Are they really the great knower? Yeah, kind of, right? I mean, if everything in the world is really the ego's doing. But what you can think of, if you use these tools in your life, is use them as a symbol to get you to wake up. So if you love human design, or you love the gene keys, or you're really loving the Enneagram, how far is it willing to take you? Do those systems take you all the way home? And can they? I think some of them can. Just remember, when you see it, it's really your decision what kind of symbol you give anything external in the world. Because in and of themselves, nothing has any meaning here, right? It's really where we're putting the meaning. So if I look at something and I say, I really love human design, and it's really, at some point, it is leading me out of the world. It's really guiding me home. Then I look at it as a symbol of truth. In and of itself, all the little details in between and my personality, it doesn't really mean anything. But if you take it as the sacred symbol, then that's really a choice to make.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, your new foundation. Use PDF spaces to generate a presentation. Grab your docs, your permits, your moves. AI levels up your pitch, gets it in a groove. Choose a template with your timeless cool. Come on now, let's flex those tools. Draft, design, deliver, make it sing. AI builds the deck so you can build that thing. Do that, do that, do that with Acrobat.
Learn more at adobe.com/do-that-with-acrobat.
So if the question is, how do you transcend this? The answer is just to rise above the chatter in your ears and realize that you can access the spiritual part of yourself to view any of these systems, right? You can say, well, I'm not going to put too much into it. I'm not going to grab a hold of it too much, because then I'm making it real, right? And A Course in Miracles loves to say, the more you get involved with something and make it mean something, you're making it real, when the only thing that's real is God. So it's like, where is your faith lying? Is your faith lying in the systems of the world, or is your faith with spirit to wake you up? That's a great way to look at what transcendence really is. Transcendental meditation and sitting getting quiet in your mind to transcend this reality, you can certainly do that. There are practices that will take you there. But you can also do that same thing in your daily life without needing to get into meditation. You can simply be aware all the time of what teacher you're choosing in your life. Am I choosing the nutcase in my head or am I choosing that wisdom, the higher mind that's always, always trying to show me the way home? Always. So I want to go back to the word I used, magic. And the reason the Course uses magic as a term and it compares magic to miracles. And let me read this passage. This is on page 25, and it's right in the beginning of the book. It's in chapter 2, the separation and the atonement. In section 5, called the function of the miracle worker, in verse 2, it says this: magic is the mindless or the miscreative use of mind. Physical medications are forms of spells, but if you are afraid to use the mind to heal, you should not attempt to do so. The very fact that you are afraid makes your mind vulnerable to miscreation. You are therefore likely to misunderstand any healing that might occur, and because egocentricity and fear usually occur together, you may be unable to accept the real source of the healing. So what this means, if you think about this, A Course in Miracles is always meeting us on the level of the mind. It's not meeting us on the physical level whatsoever. What this is saying, if you use magic, and it uses the metaphor of physical medications are forms of spells, and the spells in the book is in quotation, it's basically saying if you're using your mind to create a magic pill in the world to heal yourself, that isn't the healing that the book is talking about. It's not talking about you healing your body. It's always bringing you up to the higher mind to realize that the healing and the only healing that needs to occur has nothing to do with the physical world. It has nothing to do with your body. It has to do with correcting the error in our mind that we believed we left source, or we believed we left God. We believed that there is some form of separation, which is why we see this huge universe. So that's the healing. The healing is only in the mind, to recognize that we're not where we think we are. We're actually home in God, but we just think we're dreaming in this made-up reality. That is what the Course is talking about when it's talking about healing. Now, people use what is referred to as magic to use the power of the mind to create a physical reality that they want. That would be like, I'm going to use my mind to create whatever I want in form. You know, the whole laws of attraction and manifestation. A lot of people get into that. That is what is referred to as magic. The miracle principle is simply the ability to choose spirit, to choose the Holy Spirit and see where that error really lies. That's what the miracle is. The miracle is not about getting special things in the world. So when I said in the very beginning, somebody else asked a question about level confusion, that is what this is. Level confusion. People are taking A Course in Miracles and saying, oh, because it says that I can use the power of my mind to heal, right? Because there are passages in the Course that say that. They'll turn it into the world. And I'm going to heal myself, my physical body. I'm going to heal everyone else. We're going to heal the planet. And everything has to do with the external. So anytime that our focus is on the external, that is always the ego. It's always the ego. Because if it's true that only God is, that nothing here is what we think it is, then we're not so concerned with the outcome of our life or what happens tomorrow. But our egos will get very involved with it, won't they? I mean, really involved. And everything gets so dramatic all the time. And now we can see why, the great masters in our history, like Jesus and Buddha, are simply smiling and saying, the kingdom is not here. It's within. It has nothing to do with this world. And then look what the world does with people that say things like that. Today you get locked up and probably put on some heavy duty psychotics. you know? So to reiterate, level confusion is just putting your emphasis on the body, that I can use anything I want to heal the body. Now, this is not saying that you don't live your practical life, that you don't go to the doctor when you're sick, or that you don't use things to help your physical life. You absolutely do. You live a normal life. We can all be as normal as we want and do everything that we do in the world. But you're doing it with a different teacher. And the more and more you get comfortable with that teacher, and the more awareness that's coming through you, you start doing it all the time. It's with you constantly. And you live a very different life. Now, this may not affect what it looks like on the outside. And I think that's where the confusion lies. People want this all to mean that my physical reality is going to be amazing. Right? Wouldn't it be nice? I mean, we all say that. Wouldn't it be amazing if the world was perfect and we all lived in paradise and had fresh food and no one was fighting? Yeah. But again, is that the ego trying to create a paradise or a heaven outside of heaven? And I'll leave you to think about that. It's like, is the ego usurping God and creating this whole thing? So I think it's a slippery slope when you think about the original question was, are these systems, really of the great knower? Are they of the ego? Or can we just transcend it all? Until we're home, nothing is transcended, right? I mean, we can do the best that we can. We can see it clearly. We can keep choosing the right-minded, sane version of our mind or the spiritual side to navigate this world. And I think that's really all that matters. The more I feel awareness in my own life and the more connected I feel, everything becomes a little bit lighter. You don't take things so seriously. And sometimes people might think that sounds like, oh, you're being really aloof. You don't care. I'm like, actually, no. It allows you to really see things very clearly. And when you're not listening to the nutcase in your head, there's not a lot of chatter. And so you're actually more aware, you're more present, and you're actually able to help. You're actually able to help people around you. You're able to be of service to something in your community or someone who needs you. And just because you see the world a different way, or you experience it in a completely different way than the people around you, does not mean that you won't appear completely normal. It doesn't. You can look in the mirror and say, I look the same. I look like everybody else. And I'm walking and doing my thing. I'm doing my job. I've got my family. You're doing whatever. But it's this rich interior life that you're looking at now. And it's so different. It's so vastly different. And then when things of the world happen, because inevitably they do, right? Atrocities happen. Horrible things happen here. It's not shocking. Because you understand what you're living in. I mean, hoping that this world becomes something else is only the ego's dream. One more thing before I close today, just to think about, and I loved the question, so thank you so much for asking it. At any system of the world, it doesn't matter what it is, any religion of the world, any book, any wise information, can be seen as a symbol of truth. And so if you're involved with any of those systems, you really love them, you practice them in your life, you can take it as deeply as you wish. But eventually, to tie the second part of that question is how do we transcend it? You take those tools of the world and eventually you have to give them all up. Not that you can't still use them, but they may not have the meaning that they used to you. You might come to a point in your life where you no longer need to know all about your psyche, all about your special personality, all about how you act in the world. And another thing to remember is for those of you that are interested in these systems, and I'm one of them, typically when you get a reading or you find something out, you already know that about yourself. And now you almost feel better about it because you always knew it. Now you're getting the validation on the external. But if you really listen to your own intuition A lot of these things and these teachings that we come across, we already know about ourselves. It's just like waking you up to it. And then you can shift your attention to the intuition of spirit that's right with you all the time. And you may find yourself not caring so much about what the systems say or caring about what the eclipse season is going to look like now. And I'm not saying they don't have energetic impact. I've had major things happen on eclipses in my life. So I'm not saying in form that they don't affect you. They do affect things in form. But the question underneath it is that who we really are? Or is that just what we do while we're here? And so I hope that helps. I hope that helps you as you navigate all these interesting modalities that are out there and use them, right? There's plenty of healing modalities and things that really help us in the world. But if you're somebody who's really looking on a much deeper level at all of this and you're going, there's just got to be more. I can't believe that this is it. There just must be more. I'm missing something. Then think about this. Think about what might be available to you underneath all of these so-called meaningful things we see in front of our eyes. Maybe there's more than what our eyes see. Maybe what's true has nothing to do with what we see in the external. It has nothing to do with what our eyeballs are looking at in form. And as A Course in Miracles discusses as well, as the content is what we're looking for, not the form. The content of the mind. We're trying to get back up into that higher mind that's reminding us of home. It has nothing to do with the form of our life. But use whatever you need to get through the day. If it's fun for a while to dive into these systems, go for it. It's really interesting. But again, ultimately, none of it is true. If the only thing is true is God and we are home in God even as we speak, then nothing here is really what we think it is. But we certainly can choose to see it as a symbol of that truth. So I hope that helps. I hope you guys have a great week. I will have a show next week with a guest named Harmony Slater. She was an Ashtanga yoga teacher and a master at breath work. And she works with entrepreneurs now, but she's amazing. And we have a wonderful conversation about breath work and the nervous system and Kundalini, like the real ancient Indian Kundalini and what it does to the body. So stay tuned for that. And I can't wait to report back from my trip about health and food and the things that can help you in your practical daily life. That's it for today's show. Thanks so much for listening. If it resonated, please share, follow, and drop a review with your takeaways. It really means a lot. Visit my website at livelikeeden.com to subscribe for weekly reminders and blogs, or sign up for a free 30-minute consult to explore one-on-one guidance sessions if you're really struggling in Awakening's darkness. Take my Awakening quiz to get a personal podcast playlist that meets you exactly where you're at. See you next week for another deep dive.
I'm Suzanne Giesman, and if you've ever wondered about life after death, or if it's possible to connect with higher consciousness, I invite you to join me for my podcast, Always Connected. It's my mission to share with you that a connection with loved ones who have passed and divine guidance is always available, and we are so very loved. I want to teach you how to live a consciously connected and divinely guided life. Listen here on the mindbodyspirit.fm podcast network.
Have you ever thought about starting a podcast? We can help. We have a podcast launch package that can help you go from 0 to your first episode in 60 days. We'll teach you how to start a podcast so you don't have to worry about anything except inspiring and helping others with your knowledge and expertise. Don't wait. Start your podcast today. Just email us at info@mindbodyspirit.fm.